Yeah, it's the start. I suppose we were looking for that. We wanted getting the bonus point. It was always going to be a tough game against the English. We knew how good of a side they are and how much they would have wanted it. And the first half didn't go our way, and a few sort of bits didn't fall into place. But we were happy with how we came out in the second half, stuck to the plan, and yeah, got the job done as well. So good start.
What do you feel you guys need to improve from an attacking point of view going into this weekend?
I think we might have overplayed a small bit in that first half, got ourselves in a bit of trouble. I think we corrected that at half time. And although there was plenty of good things in that second half, there's always a good few work-ons that Goody's got us. I suppose on the training pitch, getting a bit more cohesion and alignment in and around. So yeah, we've only been together for 2 weeks now. Really, this is our third. So hopefully there'll be a lot more improvement as we come along and get more aligned and cohesive.
Going up against Blair Kinghorn at the weekend, you're opposite number someone who's a world-class operator. Is that a duel that you look forward to?
Yeah, Blair's playing brilliant rugby. I think he's really kicked on since moving to Toulouse, hasn't he? I think it suits his style of game, and he's brought that into the international setup now. And yeah, he's world class, as you said. So yeah, it's always an exciting challenge coming up against the likes of him and their back three, so dangerous as well. So it's always a good challenge, and you want to be comparing and going up against the best of the best, and that's what makes it exciting. And it's another little script to the game, which will be good.
And just finally for me, a lot of people have been saying that Antoine Dupont has gotten somehow better since his Sevens experience last year. Have you felt there's been an area where you've improved as a result of coming back into that setup?
Like, I think it's hard to pinpoint one thing. I think Sevens was brilliant for me in my development as a player for your whole like attack and defensive rounded game. It challenges you in bigger spacings, both in attack and defence, whether it's bigger passes, tougher one-on-one tackles, and I suppose making the adjustment back and forth. Just in the summer gone gets me out of my comfort zone. It was a big challenge to do it in a short space of time, and to get up to speed to an Irish Sevens team that had come on leaps and bounds from where I left off a number of years back. So it was as much of a challenge off field, mentally getting up to speed, and as it was on the pitch as well. So I'd like to think my game would have, I suppose, sharpened a few skills and come out of it better. What specifically, I'm not 100% sure.
Michael and then Ger.
And you there's kind of a human nature element to this question, but if you've beaten a team 10 times in a row, and Ireland have previously been on the end of long losing streaks against teams, it makes you more desperate to win it. What do you do for the weekend, or what have you done for the last couple of years to make sure that you're a hungrier side than Scotland for this game?
To be honest, I didn't even know there was a streak like that. It's not something we talk about. We know facing the Scottish every year is going to be such a tough battle, and I can just remember the tough games and matchups that we've had them over the last number of years, and how it's always so competitive. And they're in a good rich vein of form, and they'll be fancying themselves. So we're just taking them for the team that is in front of us this week, and not really looking back too much on the years gone by. And yeah, it's going to be a huge challenge for us. I know they're hugely up for it, and we've just got to match that and bring more to the party as well.
But is there a trick to doing that once you've won 10 times in a row? It just becomes like an expectation. How do you make sure that doesn't creep in at all?
Like the expectations creep in.
It's just human nature. If you're always winning, something seeps in somewhere. And how do you stop that?
Like, again, we don't look at it that way. I suppose we don't look at our successes against them in the past. We just take it for each game that comes around. Like, they're a new side that they were from last year. They're in a good rich vein of form. They're playing well. They fancy themselves. So we obviously looked at some of the Italy game last week, and we'll just be reviewing them and making sure that we're ready to chase that or to match that challenge that's coming. And yeah, it's going to be tough over in Murrayfield. It always is. So yeah, just taking it head on.
Sure.
How big a game is this for you?
Yeah, like every game in the Six Nations is huge, isn't it? Like, we're in a lucky position to have filled out the Viva Stadium last week, to have played in a huge game against England at home, and now the opportunity to back it up against Scotland in Murrayfield, where they're playing so well, and their crowd, I've heard it's a sellout as well, and tickets are hard to get, so there's a good buzz. So these are the tournaments you want to be involved in as a rugby player. These are the days you want to be involved with, and the games at such a high level, to challenge yourself as a individual as well as a team and see where we're at. So yeah, it's exciting for us.
And interesting there, like 11 games in a row, that would be quite the record. Is that something really that you don't talk about actually?
No, we haven't. Like, that's the first I've heard of it. We're just taking it, I suppose, game by game. We know the challenge that we're up against. We're not looking at any history records. I suppose if that does happen, that's an added bonus to it. But we're just focused on this Six Nations and just taking it game by game.
Sure.
Thanks.
There you go. Just how difficult is it in your experience defending against Finn Russell?
Yeah, he's got the full bag of tricks, doesn't he? He's a serious player. He's great passer of the ball, good kicker, likes taking the ball to the line. So yeah, it's always an exciting challenge for me as a fullback, going up against one of the best 10s in the world. I suppose I was lucky enough to get to play him against Bath only 2 or 3 weeks ago. So maybe it's not a huge advantage, but sure, it's something that's, I suppose, fresh in my mind. And we've had a few battles down the past, and looking forward to another one. And in fairness to them, they've a brilliant backline that's humming well as well. So it's not just him that we have to be wary of and be being prepped for.
With Finn, how much of it is body language? Is obviously quite good at disguising what he's going to do. Cover back to you.
Yeah.
Difficult to read in that sense.
Yeah, he is. You don't really know what he's going to do. He can shape one way and go the other way, whether that's kick, run or pass. So yeah, that's the challenge we face. And I suppose it's exciting. He's an exciting player to watch, but he's also an exciting player to, I suppose, challenge yourself up against as well.
Yeah, sorry, King.
Hey Hugo, how much work have you done specifically with Johnny, or thinking around like kick strategy and things like that? Because obviously he's working with the kickers, and I think people probably think goal kicking, but for you personally, like what's he done with you?
Yeah, he's been great. Yeah, he's not just working with the kickers. He's got a great mind. Obviously, Johnny's played at such a high level for so many years, and it would have been nearly a waste if he just went into the business working world. So we're delighted to have him into camp, and he's been great for us. He's been challenging the back three in terms of their aerial skills, and I suppose that's in and around the kicking game as well. So kicking for each other, chasing kicks, receiving kicks. I suppose it all falls into, I suppose, the kicking as a whole. So he's definitely, I suppose, tried to raise our standards in that, challenged us to grow. And yeah, it's been great to have him into camp and a fresh sort of set of eyes. And I suppose playing with them, he would have been nearly so focused on our starter plays, running our phase, attack and D, that he probably wouldn't have had as much time to give you little tips and pointers. He would occasionally, but now I suppose it's his sole focus. So yeah, he's not just working with the 10s, but also the back three and stuff.
Was that time you had in Portugal then, because obviously it was a bit extended, and was he picking out stuff, like, I know you had a few like really good kicks in behind the English back three, was he picking out stuff for the game specifically? Maybe not specifically like it, but certainly challenging us
in our general philosophies on the way we want to attack with our kicks, and putting us under pressure to execute off the back of them as well. So yeah, he was brilliant in Portugal. Like, he's a good player to sort of have, or sort of good coach to have a different perspective, and he sometimes sits back in the back of the room and he doesn't have to prepare too many meetings or anything like that, so he can really focus in on 1 or 2 points in and around the pitch stuff and trainings and habits and stuff like that. So it's been great.
You must have thought you had a 50-22 that time.
Nearly a better bounce of the ball and maybe, but yeah.
James did give you credit for the bit where you lifted Murray out. He said he didn't know what was going on. Like, have you thought about that scenario before? It's a very unusual scenario.
Not hugely. Like, I did think about it in the moment. I was surprised he didn't put it down immediately, and he's obviously a very good counter attacker. I think that was probably on his mind to have a crack to back himself. But it was a great kick chase by Lowy, and yeah, I knew we'd get the ball back. If worst case, we get him over the line. It's a ruck. They don't have an easy exit. We can get the ball back or put him into touch, and it'd be ours. So
Jamison mentioned last week, I think, in Portugal, about the change with the defensive scrum, that you've been kind of leading a lot of that. Like, the laws outside of it, is that kind of your area?
I think he's probably not giving himself much credit there as well. But we'd work together, I suppose, as 9 and fullbacks on a lot of our scrum setups and how we want to defend. And I suppose with the new rule that 9 can't go past the tunnel, previously we would have liked to put a bit of pressure on and disrupt them at source, and I think it's a good rule for attacking sides that you can now get clean ball. There'll be a bit more exciting sort of starter plays, but it means from a defensive point of view our positioning tweaks here and there, both in the backfield and in our front line. So yeah, it's been a small little change, but it has sort of kind of not big consequences, but certainly have to rethink a few things and sit down together and go through different setups and scrums and look at what opposition are doing a bit more off scrum attack.
Hugo, just last year against France was kind of Ireland's best performance of the season, and not minimising it, won a Six Nations on a series draw in South Africa. Have you spoken about how the trajectory of last year and how you need to avoid that, something similar happening this year, and that, to make sure the trajectory goes up?
Like, I think we haven't specifically talked about those games, but we definitely know over the last year that we've sort of been a little bit inconsistent with our performances, and that we properly haven't clicked fully as a team, and we're still chasing that perfect performance. Whether we'll ever get it, I don't know, but we'll definitely strive to do it. Our coaches are challenging us every day to get better, and I think there's more to come from this side, from both the England game, but also the summer series and last Six Nations. And the challenge is now to back up that performance that we had against England. It was good at times, but it wasn't so good at other moments. So it's getting a full 80-minute performance and more. Because I think, if we're being honest, you probably saw it as well. We even probably mentally switched off those last 5 minutes as well, letting them in for 2 tries as well. So small things like that we can definitely get better at.
When is that, on that instance of the late 2 tries, was that addressed in the dressing room after, or was that just it's a time to celebrate, or how does Simon emphasise that that's not acceptable, that could cost you a Six Nations if it goes to points difference? Is that emphasised in the dressing room after, or spoken about?
There wasn't a huge amount. I think we all knew it. We came off the pitch a little bit, not deflated, but like, you want to hold teams out. You're proud of your defence. You're proud of not conceding tries. You don't want to let in sort of 2 soft tries as we thought about it. So I think everybody was aware, but in a change room after a game, we still had to realise that we had gotten 5 points against a very good English side. There's not a whole lot of reviewing you can do post-match as well. You're not going to get clips up. So no, we didn't address it then, but we certainly did earlier in the week, and yeah, we looked at it.
Hugo. Thanks everyone.